So, Ariana Grande released her single Hate That I Made You Love Me, right, some time ago, about 2 months ago. The song is a lead single from her recently released album Pedal, and we're going to dig into the lyrics to see what it's saying and to break down the songwriting structure, the songwriting techniques that she's using so that we can learn from it. Let's go. So, for the context, there's a lot going on surrounding her online situation and her relationship with her fans and the state of her career at this point in time. But we are only concerned with the lyrics, the pen on paper, what they're saying, what she is saying, the lyrical content, structure, techniques that she uses, and all of that nice stuff. And from what I've picked up from reading the lyrics, is the overall message, of course, is I hate that I made you love me. Now we're going to dig deeper into how she relates that message and how she carries over the meaning and the techniques that she uses to relate or to get the message across. Right. So let's get it. Ariana, hate that I made you love me. First, we're going to go through the songwriting structure. Right. So I believe this is the verse. Verse 1. Yes, how many lines? We have 5 lines for verse 1. I've identified this as a pre-chorus. About 6 lines for the pre-chorus. Right. And 4 lines for the chorus. 4 lines for the chorus. And five lines for verse 2. So verse 1 and verse 2 has 5 lines. Both of them. Yes, both of them have 5 lines. And then the pre-chorus as identified, which is a little different from the first one, but we'll talk about that. And then the chorus, and then we have a bridge, 5-line bridge. Wow, okay. And then a double chorus. So we've already identified a pattern in the song. It uses a lot of 5 lines. 5 lines isn't necessarily a technique, it is a pattern of design. If we think about a song like a building, every song has its own blueprint, but all the songs follow a similar set of rules. And that similar set of rules acts as a guideline to have the building structured, But each song will have its own particular design. And in songwriting, we call this engineer. How you engineer the song. Hits are engineered and designed to become hits. Some hit, some miss, but in that case, they're just designed for a certain purpose, right? So this particular song has the design of 5 lines for verse 1, 5 lines for verse 2, and the bridge, 5 lines. It's not a mistake. It's not unintentional. It's very intentional. And 6 lines for the pre-chorus. Also 6 lines for the second pre-chorus. So we're looking at a very intentionally designed song, as they all are, as all professional songs are. So when you actually listen to the song, it sounds very balanced. When she's singing the song, it sounds balanced. Every section has a purpose and every section makes you feel balanced. It's because of this skeletal design, right? So she starts off with a short verse 1, which she also did in her song Pedal. I did an analysis on that. So this is a very short verse 1, goes into the pre-chorus, as well as here in Hate That I Made You Love Me. She goes into the pre-chorus very quickly from verse 1. Doesn't waste time. Reels the audience into the story very, very quickly. So if a technique is being used across multiple songs, then you know it's working. It's a functionality that is working. It's a pattern that is being carried across, except the other song is going to have a different design. This is not going to be 5 lines. This is going to be 4 lines. 4 lines. It's not a mistake. This is 4 and 4. But this one is 5, 6, 5, 4 and 4. Oh, yeah, 5, 6 and 5s. So every song has its own design, song structure design. They're all structured around the same principles, but they will have differing designs. Now we're gonna get into the lyrical content. Now, this is not self-explanatory. That's why we're going to get into it. Right. So verse 1, what does she say? I can't tell you why, but something inside is dancing with fire. All right. Eyes lit like the sky, turn tears into diamonds. Got good at goodbyes. So when we look at lyrics, we always have to understand it from a place of no context, which means if I don't know, if I've never heard of Ariana Grande, which is impossible, and I'm just a listener coming into a song that I've never, I don't have any context on it, I don't know what's it about, the song and the lyrics itself must relate the meaning of the song without me having to scratch and claw and search for context on the internet. That's the power of the words written down. It has to say what the artist wants to get across. Right. So let's get into what she's saying. I can't tell you why. Well, so psychologically, she's withholding. So that makes us more curious of what she is withholding. But something inside is dancing with fire. So that means that she's got something in her chest that she wants to offload. Eyes lit like the sky. Well, okay. Turn tears into diamonds. Self-explanatory. Got good at goodbyes. Well, separation, good riddance, all of that jazz, right? So the first verse just built curiosity and plus anticipation. So now she wants us, well, now she has us needing her to explain herself. What are you saying, Miss Ariana? What are you saying? Just know that I will find my way from you. Ooh, this is loaded. This is loaded actually, because this is implying whoever you is in this situation has trapped the person, which is why they need to find their way from that person. And interesting, the word trap came out because the next line is like flowers from a tomb. Right. Something beautiful from a sort of death. Right. While you decide who you are, and I can see right through, right? Perception. Right. Like shadows on the moon. Are they shadows on the moon? I think so. Let's check. Let's check. Yes, the moon has plenty of shadows because the moon has no atmosphere to scatter sunlight. Its shadows are especially dark and sharply defined. Dark and sharply defined. All right. She can see right through because their shadows are dark and defined. You see, a little bit of research gives you a little bit more insight. And it is all bad news. Right. Right. For a pre-chorus, that was mouthful. That was mouthy. But it was mouthy without saying too much. Very succinct lines that don't over explain. Right. Of course. And then after that pre chorus, now we have to use the chorus to justify what we said there. Right. Yeah, I hate that I made you love me. That's the whole song. Sorry if I made me a type, which is definitely not an apology, a rhetorical uh, fu kind of apology. Yeah, I hate that I made you love me because I barely tried. I disagree. I disagree. I think she tried very much. The thing is, it don't matter how hard you try. People never gonna like you. People never gonna love you. It's never gonna be enough. No matter how hard you try, it's never gonna be enough. But she tried. That's why she is a big artist. Well, one of the biggest artists in the world. Verse 2. Again, 5 lines, almost identical to verse 1. Not a mistake at all. Absolutely not a mistake. Right. What's happening now? What is happening now? You studied my crown. Okay, we studied her success. The audience studied her success and borrowed her body. Borrowed my body. Right. Of course. Right. All of that implications as well. Warm kiss by the sun. In verse 1, we had eyes lit like the sky. And now in verse 2, we have warm kiss by the sun. Almost the same connotation. Then cold like the wind, a bee stuck in honey. Interesting. Why is this interesting? Because in her song Pedal, she says, bitch, I'm practically drowning in my blessings. Right. So, a bee stuck in honey, drowning in my blessings. So now we're kind of getting the message now. We're kind of getting the message, Ariana. And then we go into the pre-chorus. But the pre-chorus is different from the first pre-chorus because the first pre-chorus like flowers from a tomb. The second pre-chorus, I guess, is kind of cute, and they rhyme each other. Cute and tomb rhyme. That means in the writing process, they had the first pre-chorus on the one side and the second pre-chorus on the other side, and say, how are we going to make this different? How are we going to change this so that we can sort of say roundabout the same thing, but we say it in a different manner that doesn't bore the audience or that delivers the message in a different way. Very calculated, and yeah. So how you like me where you are, but I can see right through. Perception, right? Just don't eclipse the moon. She brings back the moon. Also, in the second last line, right? Second last line, pre-chorus 1. Second last line, pre-chorus 2. Just don't eclipse the moon because it's all bad news, and the bad news is the same as the first pre-chorus. Right, side to side. They had the pre-chorus side to side to see what we're gonna change here, and then the second chorus, and then the bridge, which I found the delivery of how she sang it very questionable. I didn't like that part, and the bridge is actually very. The lyrics are very brilliant. uh, I feel like now I'm just gassing up her songwriting for no reason. But yeah, the delivery was questionable, very questionable. But I guess it was a change in rhythm. which meant that she didn't bore her audience because the song is so perfectly balanced, so she needed a change in rhythm, and therefore she sang the bridge in that way to change the rhythm so that she doesn't bore her audience with a perfectly balanced song. Right. I held your projections when you felt so insecure. Right. She was the poster girl, I assume, for the insecurities of her audience. They saw the themselves perfected in her. Tell me, why is it this way? All right. Why is it this way? Why you so hate to see women endure? Well, that's that's a thing, right? In the world, right? Even in business, everywhere. So is it really my fault you gave me a heart of your accord? The audience will fall in love with a specific version of you, and that's the version that they want, and you have to keep showing up for them in that way. Otherwise, they don't like you anymore, right? I don't really think so. Right. And that's the song. Double double chorus, and that's it. That's the second Ariana song after Pedal that I've done. Yeah, I'm starting to get the message. The message is very clear in the lyrics. I don't need to know what's going on the internet. I don't need to know what's going on with her situation. The lyrics reveal the artist's message. It reveals everything around the what the context is. And that's how you know that the lyrics are good and they convey the message. They get the message across. Right. So the song successfully gets the message across in that manner. She used a lot of metaphors. She used a lot of metaphors, which made the song very tasteful. You know, sometimes you say things straight, sometimes you use metaphors to convey your message. Yeah, very structured lyrics. And I've had a peek at the internet, and everybody is reacting to what she's saying, the music videos, and that's what structure does. You know, people react to what is said. What do they get? But underneath is a skeletal, calculated songwriting structure that successfully gets the message across for people to then react to and feel emotionally affected by. We don't just sit down and, doodle, doodle, doodle. No, they're reacting to something very real, crafted by very, very crafty songwriters or songwriter. Her. Right. A point from the song is artists get the fame and then the fame traps them. And then they realize that, oh, now I have to keep showing up as the person they want me to be. But what if I don't want to be that person? What if I want to be this way or that way? No, I want the old, blah, blah, blah. I want the old you, the old, the old, the old, the old. Every time is we want the old. Gosh, every artist, every time we want the old. Oh goodness, let it rest. Just let her be. Gosh, but that's not my place to speak. I only care about the lyrics, and that's my job well done.